Welcome to our new God's Love for the Unlovable and Gospel Rant series and format. We're calling it Vagabond Diaries. It's a narrative approach versus the teaching approach. Instead of verse by verse, word by word, precept by precept, we're telling stories to highlight biblical principles, to highlight the love of God for the unloved, the unlovable, right? And to really help us get this, to take it to a different part of our brain. We want it to be life-changing. We want it to stir up the imagination. We want to multiply this, maybe get more storytellers out there. I believe that if we want to reach the younger generation in particular, we need to start telling stories. I mean, think about Chronicles of Narnia, Tolkien's books, even Harry Potter. These have inspired generations in troubled times. And I think we're in troubled times, in the world particularly, right? So we tell stories. I remember doing a mission trip to a First Nations tribe. And on the last day of the trip, and we just served them. I mean, we did everything from digging ditches to fixing roofs and decks and digging graves, and we did whatever they wanted us to do. And the last bit of the evening was they told stories of their heritage and tribe, and we told stories of ours. And the leader told the story of the flood. And it was just a mutual respect, and I think seeds were planted. It was so much fun, by the way. It was great respect. So I'm going to tell stories. Like this one today, it's short, and I think it's going to stimulate some thought and some dialogue and maybe even some disagreements. This is a rant after all. We're not above using satire and sarcasm and made-up characters to, maybe even some political insights, right? Our goal is to make us think about truth a little bit differently. Yeah? So pass them on, check it out, let other people know. That's the idea. Yeah? All right, this one's going to be really short and hard-hitting, so you listen to it a couple of times. Are you with me? This is Robert. Welcome to Robert. My name is Robert Muscovich, and this is the single event that catapulted my career as an investigative reporter for the Times not so long ago. It happens like that very often. Stories come and stories go. Seems that you're never going to get a break, and then whammo, out of nowhere, that golden ring is thrust into your face and you grab it quickly before someone else can get their greasy mitts on it. And then you have to learn to live with it. To date, the hospital has airlifted over 150 victims from the war-torn former Yugoslavia into countries where they can receive treatment. The spokesperson went on, one pregnant mother wounded by shrapnel was flown to Munich into a hospital at no charge, and the latest word is that both she and baby are doing fine. All of this was interesting humanitarian stuff, but hardly the story that would make page one, I wanted a real scoop. Who was the Yugoslavian welfare hospital anyway? Where did they come from? Who was providing the funding? They just seemed to burst out onto the scene only weeks previously. Other welfare cases had been tied up in weeks of UN bureaucracy and red tape. Oh, sure, one or two lucky people made it to life-saving hospital care, but the vast majority didn't make it. They were casualties of this crummy war. Then the welfare hospital began airlifting patients out anyway without permission. It was a true stroke of genius, really. No one would dare object. It would be political suicide to speak against such brave humanitarian effort. And neither of the warring sides would dare take shots at the volunteers, fearing the wrath of the entire international community. Who would have thought? So why are you doing this anyway? Questioned the Washington bureau chief of Reuters. There's a pecking order to the questions, kind of an unspoken etiquette based upon seniority. What's in it for the hospital? And by this question, he signaled the game plan to the entire press corps. His news experience was telling him that and he was telling everyone else in the room, there's a bigger story here, a story behind the story. Newsmen make their fame off the big one, the story of stories. We dream of another Watergate. Well, he smelled something of that nature here. All of us did. The pieces just didn't seem to go together. There was something here that could sell papers. We wouldn't leave until it was discovered. The spokesperson for the hospital paused and calmly said, "We love the former Yugoslavia so much that we're willing to give all that we have." And he was cut off in the middle of the sentence. Newshound 101, you cut off the speaker in the middle of the sentence in hopes of rattling him. Yes, 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 I'm sure there is much pure humanitarian purpose here, but what is the real reason that YWH entered the picture? The spokesperson calmly continued, "Well, there's no other reason. We love Yugoslavia, so we're going to continue to airlift out people and provide life-saving aid to them." Oh, he was good, really good. Cool as a cucumber. Down the line, he handled each and every seemingly leading and provocative bait question that was tossed to him with the greatest of ease. Would this story be doomed to reside next to the flower show coverage on page 10? What was the angle? Certainly there's something here that would sell papers. "Gentlemen and ladies," he posited gingerly, "we have loved this country so much that to date over 150 people certainly doomed to die have now received life." Just then, it hit me. The idea came to me like an avalanche, like a bolt of lightning. Yes, of course, Newshound 201. You give the story a little twist and make it a new story. My heart was pounding as I carefully looked for the strategic, appropriate time, hoping that my voice would not crack. "Sir, excuse me, sir, you say that you are driven by your deep love for the people of Yugoslavia. Is that correct? But the truth of the matter is that although you've saved over 150 persons, over 1,000 have in fact been left to die. How can you say that you love Yugoslavia? Isn't it true that by your actions implicitly you have condemned over 1,000 men, women, and children to death?" Well, there was a deadly quiet that filled the press room. Seconds passed. The first noise that was heard was the seeming resurrection among the cameramen who had given up on this story a long time ago. The swell of the sound began as they jostled for position to get the answer on tape. In the press corps, the feeding frenzy was about to begin. The spokesperson, stunned by this question, sat back in obvious disappointment and began to address the issue one more time. Well, the rest is history. The headlines the following day exposed YWH as a heartless organization who played judge and jury in the lives of their supposed countrymen. Pro-Yugoslavian organizations picketed the hospital's headquarters for many weeks, protesting such things as a genocide, manipulation, etc. There were sound bites galore. It even made crossfire. It was a newsman's dream. Public criticism was mixed, which allowed us to print editorials and op-ed pieces and push-pull surveys about reported bias in the media. All in all, it was a successful outing. Really. But sometimes I wonder. And the end. Look, it's pretty difficult reconciling God loving the entire world, John 3:16, but not saving everybody, Hebrews 9:26. What do you think? So here's some dialogue starters I thought about. Actually, just one. How do you reconcile God loving the entire world but saving only many? So John 3:16, contrast Hebrews 9:26. Does the story help or does it confuse it more? If you like this Vagabond Diary, please like and subscribe, forward the link, check out my fantasy books. Kingdom Quest Trilogy is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you want more information, go to my author page, drbillsenior.com. Check out the women's series for groups and book studies and spiritual formation. It's called Dance, Daughters of the Most High. Fun, informative, hopeful look at 7 underappreciated, misunderstood, overlooked women. Check it out. Look, these are mothers of our faith, and they just haven't been given their due. I'm trying to give them their voice. I think you'll enjoy how it's written. It's fun. It's up to date. I think you'll enjoy it. Check it out, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and drbillsenior.com. All right, we'll see you next time. Take heart, child of God.